We're on the move. Places to go, things to do. Everyone seems to be in a hurry, and the use of motor vehicles is growing and growing. Hundreds of thousands of vehicles, millions of vehicles. With all these vehicles on the road, it seems chaotic at times, particularly in heavy traffic areas. It's a good thing that everyone knows how to operate their vehicles safely, or there could be many more accidents. Well, the sad story is there are a lot of accidents, injuries, and fatalities on our nation's roads and freeway systems. There are almost as many causes of accidents as there are accidents. That's what this program is all about, to help remind each and every person who operates a motor vehicle, be it 18-wheelers, trucks, vans, or any type of motor vehicle, about some of the more important responsibilities each of us have as vehicle operators. No scare tactics, not much blood and gore, but just some basics that all of us tend to forget as we operate our vehicles. Okay, let's begin with some very basic rules. First, keep in mind that each state has their own rules, laws, and regulations, so you'll have to follow each state's requirements when you're operating a vehicle in that particular state. This program is not intended to serve as a vehicle operator's training program, but simply a reminder to some of the more important driving tips all of us tend to forget from time to time. Always carry your driver's license with you and present it to any law enforcement officer in the event of an accident or if you are being stopped for a motor vehicle violation. The vehicle's registration certificate must also be available. Insurance certification may be required, and it's always a good idea to keep an accident kit in your vehicle, such as what information is needed if you have an accident. The kit should also have a pen or pencil. Check your spare tire for proper inflation pressure frequently, and carry emergency first aid supplies just in case. Before starting your vehicle, make sure your doors are closed and your seatbelt is fastened. Remember, everyone in the vehicle must fasten their seatbelt. When starting from a parking place, always look for bicycles, pedestrians, and vehicles approaching from the rear. Use your turn signal and watch for traffic, because you do not have the right-of-way when pulling out into traffic. Many vehicle accidents occur in parking areas because drivers don't look to their rear when backing. Be sure there is no oncoming traffic or obstacles when backing out of a parking space. When driving on the road, drive on the right side of the roadway, except when passing vehicles going in your direction. The fast lane on expressways and freeways is for passing other vehicles. It's best to drive in this lane only when passing or exiting to the left. The far right lane is used for slower traffic. Each highway and freeway has specific advantages and disadvantages. For instance, the far right lane accommodates the slowest traffic, and it also leaves you an escape route most of the time. Although we recommend you learn to drive the freeway or interstate system in this lane, you must be extra careful about slower traffic, which is merging onto the road from entrance ramps. The middle lanes carry most of the traffic. In these lanes, you can drive at the same pace as most of the other vehicles. However, you often have no escape route. The left or fast lane should be used for passing only. Although this lane normally provides a means of escape, it should be used only for passing slower moving traffic. When there is congestion or traffic, slow down. Even if the speed limit is 65 miles per hour, it may not be safe to drive 65 miles per hour. When using the on-ramp to a freeway, you may see red and green lights. This is a metering ramp, designed to allow a few vehicles onto the freeway at one time. If the meter is red, stop until it turns green. After moving from the green light, make sure you have room to enter the freeway. Watch your rear view mirror and look to the rear for oncoming vehicles. And look to your left to be sure the traffic lane is clear before you merge onto the freeway. In many states, there are high occupancy lanes, which usually require 2 or more persons in the vehicle. These high occupancy or diamond lanes are designed to encourage more people to carpool and are given special incentives. If you are the only person in the vehicle, you cannot use these marked lanes. To enter or leave a carpool lane, you must wait until you see a clearly marked entrance or exit lane. Never cross a double yellow stripe to enter or leave any lane of traffic. Remember, the maximum speed limit is the posted speed limit. If the metering ramp has a designated diamond or high volume lane, and you're authorized to use this lane, do not stop at red lights on the ramp. Quite often, stopping for a red light at the metering ramp can cause accidents because others in the high volume lane don't expect vehicles in this lane to stop for red lights. Traffic is enough to worry about, so be courteous to other drivers. Don't cut them off by pulling in front of them. Wait until you have enough room to change lanes safely. When driving, don't follow the vehicle in front of you too closely. It's called tailgating, and it's a dangerous practice. A vehicle traveling at only 25 miles per hour needs quite a long ways to stop. So if something happens to the vehicle in front of you and it tries to stop, an accident will occur. The faster you're traveling, the more room you need to stop. Always leave enough room to stop in case of an emergency. Generally, you should allow 3 seconds to pass between you and the vehicle in front of you. You determine the distance between your vehicle and the vehicle in front of you by focusing on a fixed object in the roadway, such as a highway marker, signpost, or other fixed object. As the vehicle in front of you passes by this object, simply count 1001, 1002, 1003. And if the front of your vehicle has not passed this same object, your clearance should be adequate. Of course, additional distance is necessary when road conditions such as rain, snow, ice, or fog, or other conditions adversely affect your visibility or ability to stop your vehicle. Give large trucks additional room because they can't always see you. Don't follow too closely. From time to time, you will see and hear emergency vehicles. When you see an emergency vehicle approaching with red lights flashing, such as a police vehicle, ambulance, or fire engine, always pull to the right and stop until the emergency vehicle passes. Remember, pull to the right. Don't stop on the left side or middle of the road. Pull to the right. You've all seen and heard about Hollywood stops, hitting the brakes just a little bit at a stop sign and rolling on by. At stop signs and red lights, wait until you're sure all cross traffic has stopped and pedestrians are safely out of your way. Remember to give pedestrians the right of way at all times. In most states, you may turn right on a red stoplight after you've made a full stop. If there is no sign which prohibits a right turn on the red light, you may turn right, being careful that you do not interfere with pedestrians, bicyclists, or moving vehicles passing through the intersection on a green light. There are restrictions at some traffic lights, such as do not turn left or right during certain periods of time during the day. Be sure and follow the instructions on these signs. When parking your parked vehicle must face in the direction that normal traffic flows. The legal parking position is with the front and rear wheels of the vehicle within 18 inches of the curb. To stop on a highway, park all 4 wheels well off the pavement if possible. There are special parking places designated for handicapped persons. If you do not have a valid handicap placard or special handicapped license plate, you cannot park in these handicapped spaces, even if you are handicapped. You must have a placard or special license plate. When parking on a hill headed downhill, turn your front wheels into the curb or toward the side of the road. Always set the parking brake. When you park on an upgrade or facing uphill, turn your front wheels away from the curb. After checking for clearance behind you, roll back a few inches until the front wheel gently touches the curb. Always set the parking brake. Remember, set the parking brake every time you park, anywhere. Leave the vehicle in gear. If your vehicle has an automatic transmission, use the park position. Of course, never park within 15 feet of any fire hydrant or within 7 1/2 feet of a railroad track. Red curbs mean no parking at any time. Curbs painted yellow mean loading zone and can only be used by trucks loading and unloading materials. Green curbs indicate limited parking zones and can only be used for a specified time period, usually 5 to 15 minutes. At every intersection where streets with sidewalks meet at right angles, there are crosswalks for pedestrians to safely cross the street. The crosswalk is that part of the pavement where the sidewalk lines would extend across the street. Many pedestrian crosswalks are marked by solid white lines. Some crosswalks, especially in residential areas, are not marked, so be especially careful and proceed with caution after making a full stop. Yellow crosswalks may be painted at school intersections. Remember that pedestrians have the right-of-way at all intersections, whether or not crosswalks are marked by painted white or yellow lines. Always obey crossing guards at school intersections. You can never tell what children will do, so exercise caution near schools. Stop for the safety of anyone crossing the street on foot. Don't pass a vehicle from behind that has stopped at a crosswalk, as a pedestrian, hidden from your view by the stopped vehicle, may be crossing. When accelerating from an intersection which is controlled by a stoplight, use the 3-second approach to safety. When the light turns green, count 1001, 1002, 1003 before proceeding. There are thousands of serious accidents every year because a driver tried to beat the yellow caution light and failed to stop even when your light turned green. You may have proceeded on a green light, but an accident is still an accident. So use the 3-second rule and look both ways before proceeding on a green light. Okay, what about speed limits? Well, the basic speed law is that you must never drive faster than is safe for the road conditions, regardless of what the highway sign may say. The speed limit may be affected by the number of vehicles on the road, the surface of the road, and many other driving conditions. Weather, glare from the sun, or adverse conditions. In other words, if you're driving 45 miles per hour in a 55 miles per hour zone during dense fog, you could be cited by a police officer for driving too fast for the conditions. The maximum speed limit on most highways is 65 to 70 miles per hour. On certain rural highways, designated by speed limit signs, faster speeds may be authorized. There will always be posted speed limit signs in these areas. In business or residential areas, 25 miles per hour is the general authorized speed, but always follow posted speed limits. In school areas, 15 to 25 miles per hour may be posted, particularly when children are present. If you're involved in an accident, stop and don't leave until the law enforcement officers arrive. Failure to stop at the scene of an accident where your vehicle caused property damage, injury, or death makes you a hit-and-run driver, subject to severe penalties. This is also true if your vehicle causes an accident without making actual contact with another vehicle. Move the vehicles involved out of the traffic lanes if they can be safely moved. You don't want to create additional hazards by leaving the vehicles in the roadway if at all possible. Identify yourself and show your driver's license and registration to the other driver or drivers involved, or to law enforcement officers. The safety of injured drivers and passengers is always important. However, if you're not trained in first aid or understand how to assist injured persons, it's best to wait for medical attention. In most states, there are emergency telephones located on highways and the freeway systems. Do not use these telephones except in cases of emergency. Most of these emergency telephones have translators available if you do not speak English. Naturally, one of the most important parts of operating vehicle safety is to make sure your vehicles or any vehicles you rent is in good condition. When renting a vehicle, inspect it for damage before you accept the vehicle. Should you note a problem, bring it to the attention of the person you're renting it from so it can be noted. Routinely, check your own vehicle's oil, water, battery, lights, windshield wipers, and other parts of your vehicle. Make sure you have proper air pressure in your tires. Each person operating a vehicle must make sure the horn, brakes, and all other safety features work properly before driving any vehicle. When we discuss personal responsibility, we have to think about the number one problem on our highways and road systems: drinking alcoholic beverages and operating motor vehicles. When we discuss this particular type of abuse, we also include under the influence of any controlled substance, such as drugs and medications. 50% of all fatal driving accidents in the United States involve drivers who have been drinking. Most persons can have their driving ability impaired even after one drink. The safest practice is never to drive after you have consumed alcohol. Each state has its own blood alcohol content restrictions. In California, it's illegal to drive with a blood alcohol content of 0.08% or greater. What this means is your blood and alcohol content is based upon the weight of your body, the amount of time between drinks, and the total number of drinks. For example, if you weigh 160 pounds and have 2 drinks within 1 hour, your blood alcohol content may be as high as 0.05 to 0.07%. In California, you can be arrested under these conditions. If you've had 3 drinks in 1 hour, your blood alcohol content will be over 0.08%, which is certainly illegal. If you weigh less, your blood alcohol content will be more for each drink you consume. The drinking driver may think he or she is driving okay, but it's easy for someone else to see the vehicle weaving, driving too fast, or driving too slowly. Police are trained to spot a vehicle whose driver has been drinking alcohol. The officer can pull the vehicle over, require the vehicle operator to perform certain sobriety tests. If the vehicle operator fails any part of this test, the police officer will handcuff the operator and take that person to jail. After a person has been arrested, they will be taken to court, where a judge, upon conviction, may sentence the person to a jail term, suspend the driver's operating license, or may require the person to provide community service, such as working on road crews, picking up trash. When a drinking driver is involved in a fatality, this could mean many years in jail. The general public, police, judges, and everyone are very hard on convicted drunk drivers because drinking and driving cause so many fatal accidents. It's easy to see how the pain and suffering of many people are affected by those who continue to drink and drive. It's not a very pretty sight to see maimed and injured people caused by alcohol-related accidents. The best advice is to never drink and drive. Even one alcoholic beverage can impair your judgment, and the results can be disastrous. One more thing, and that's the ever-increasing hazards near toll booths. That's right, toll booths. There are many hazards requiring your attention when passing through toll booths. First of all, go slowly, because everyone seems to be jockeying for position and changing lanes at the last minute, trying to get to the open toll booths. Some people change their minds or find out they've entered the wrong lane and switch to another lane. Some people have an easy tag or other identification system whereby they are electronically charged for the tolls as they pass through. This means they rarely slow down and seem to speed through the toll booth. This speed adds danger to the people who are accelerating from their stop at the toll booth. Remember, many cars are entering the roadway and exiting from the toll booths. This also adds to the danger. Be especially watchful for others when going through toll booths because the danger is there. If you drive defensively and watch where you're going and where others are going, you'll be much safer. Above all, obey the speed limits in these areas. Take your driving privileges seriously. Common courtesy, defensive driving, following the legal speed limits, avoiding alcoholic beverages, and doing your part to avoid accidents is the best investment you can make for yourself, your family, and everyone else on the road. We can't list all the laws, rules, and regulations in a short video, but we can encourage each and every person operating a motor vehicle to act responsibly behind the wheel. It's the only safe thing to do. Thank you.